good morning. That's exactly what some of these companies are raising as they really start to battle this out, as this fight really begins between adult content sites and the United States. But over the weekend, it's really been throwing people in Texas for a loop, because data shows that Google searches over the weekend for websites like this, or VPNs, which are virtual private networks which disguise your location online, have really skyrocketed. And users were really hit with this message over the weekend that reads, in part, quote, "Not only does this impinge on the rights of adults to access protected speech, it fails strict scrutiny by employing the least effective and yet also most restrictive means of accomplishing Texas's stated purpose of allegedly protecting minors." And it goes on to explain that by saying, quote, "As we've seen in other states, such bills have failed to protect minors by driving users from the few websites which comply to the thousands of websites with far fewer safety measures in place."
And it must stop! Don't touch that dial!
At the time of this recording, we're in the middle of the First Amendment, Supreme Court hearing about First Amendment rights. Several cases that are ongoing right now at the moment. And I think age verification will be headed in that direction very soon. We've had some wins, we've had some losses, we've had some setbacks. Other states are making copycat situations. We had Florida, which basically shut down one law and brought another one into play. But the thing about it is, it comes down to propaganda pseudosciences to the situation. You got groups like NOSC, which is AKA Morality and Media, who pushes a lot of these pseudoscientific things that say pornography is a major health issue. It's a major health crisis, which from other scientific point of view and other studies, it is incorrect to the situation. It's incorrect with what they're talking about to the situation, because they, some of these people put these papers out, which it's very easy to do, because we've had some comedians put out papers similar to this to show you how easy it is to control the narrative on certain things. Because this is what it is that they do a sort of a Cliff Notes type of study, which they kind of cherry pick certain words, certain things, and they want to frighten you to the situations. And one thing that they've done is when Pornhub pulled out of Louisiana, they said, oh, they've had an 80% decrease in viewership at Pornhub. Actually, that's incorrect.
What is this going to do? People always find a way. Do they not know people have fake IDs? Okay. Also, I'm on social media these days, and I'm scrolling. What do I see? Inappropriate content that I didn't ask for. It is out there.
Sierra just turned into like my 95-year-old grandma.
I know, right?
Wow, Sierra, I didn't know you had it in you. Also, kids, it's called a VPN. Just pretend like you're out in Canada.
Oh,
it'll be just fine.
That's very incorrect, because Texas has now been blocked access as well. And the first thing you see, and happened in Louisiana, what happens at web search for that state? You see a high intake for VPNs. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, VPNs. The program that allows you to be in a different place and access a website in other places. In other words, say, for example, if you're in the United States, you want to access Netflix in the United Kingdom, which has other shows that are not available in the US, you're able to do that. So you think you could use it for accessing Pornhub? Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is why Pornhub is pulled out of these there, to avoid the situations. They can't charge Pornhub with any charges because technically they're not operating in their state. People are finding wraparounds to access this site, and that's the particular person who's accessing it, that's his own business. You can't fine that particular person for accessing a porn website. From the New York Post, web searches for VPN swell 400% in Texas as Pornhub blocks access.
That's a lot of nuts!
Don't mess with Texans when it comes to porn. Google data reveals a sudden rise in search traffic in Texas for VPNs just days after Pornhub and other affiliate adult websites pulled out of the Lone Star State. It's new law requiring all users to verify age by providing a government issue ID. VPNs, or virtual private networks, allow internet users to encrypt their connections and obscure their locations to access region-restricted content. The subscription-based services have become increasingly popular in the recent years, costing a few bucks per month. Since Pornhub blocked access to the state on March 14th, a VPN is now the only way to visit the site within Texas borders. Google Trends shows more than a 400% spike in search interest for the term VPN in Texas immediately days after following, according to Variety. Dallas-Fort Worth topped the list of Texas metros with the jump in VPN Google searches, followed by Houston, Austin, Waco, Temple, Bryan, and San Antonio, the outlet said. The anti-smut law was signed by Governor Greg Abbott in June 2023, but didn't take effect until last week because of the legal challenge. And there's still continuing legal challenges against this. It requires online publishers whose content is more than one-third sexual material harmful to minors to verify the age of every website visitor by checking their identification. The law was set to take effect September 1st, but was initially struck down by a federal judge on First Amendment grounds after a lawsuit brought by the Free Speech Coalition, an advocacy group which included Pornhub's Canadian parent company, Avo Holdings. Then last week, a federal appeals court overturned the lowest court decision and upheld the most of the law put into effect rather than comply with it. Pornhub blocked access to its site statewide. Until a real solution is offered, we have made the difficult decision to completely disable our access to our website in Texas. It reads a message posted on Pornhub and other adult sites in its network. In doing so, we are complying with the law as we always do, but hope that the governments around the world will implement laws that will actually protect the safety and security of users, which this does not. It does not, there have been every digital digital experts that have been saying this will not protect anyone. It will not protect anyone at all. It will become a nightmare as far as hacking into people's identifications. In a statement, IO Hurling's Vice President Brand and Community, Alex Kresge, said the fight will continue. This is not the end. We are reviewing options and consulting with our legal team, Kresge said. We will continue to fight for our industry and the performers that legally earn a living, and we will continue to appeal through all available judicial recourse to recognize that this law is unconstitutional. According to SEMrush, Pornhub is currently the fourth most popular website in the U.S., trailing only Google, YouTube, and Facebook site visits. Pornhub network includes other websites such as Brazzers, RedTube, YouPorn, which have all been similarly restricted in 7 other U.S. states: Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, and North Carolina, Virginia, and Utah. And this is the thing that's going. VPNs is the go around to get to the site. And the thing is that, and I've had some talks with people on X. They're looking, these groups, these activist groups, and they're using, the politicians that are signing on with them, they're looking to ban things that they don't like. This is a rehash. This is a rehash of the 1990s. Whereas they were going after music, they were going after violence in video games, they were going after violence and sex on broadcast TV and in movies. You know, this is something that's been going on for quite some time now. And the thing about it is, this is the same politicians that a lot of these politicians are still pushing the same things on there. Look what's happening right now as far as the gaming industry. Now they're looking at the gaming industry from a homeland security situation, that they're looking for extremists on video games. You know, especially on Roblox. Roblox! Really? You're going to find extremists on Roblox? But you're not worried about the extremists that are crossing either the Mexican border or the Canadian border? Yeah, that's right, the Canadian border. And I'm going to say that for Rad. We just got a report recently that there have been extremists that are on the terror watch list, that they're trying to cross the Canadian border into the U.S. and they get caught on that end. But the thing about it is, it's going to be a point where the Canadians can't handle it, or the Border Patrol from the U.S. can't handle it on the U.S. side. And then, of course, they're using the children.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
The children. Protect the children. Meanwhile, how many thousands of children that are missing in this country that came across that border, and the U.S. government doesn't know where they're at? That they've disappeared completely? Where are they? I'll tell you where they're at. They're working in factories. They're working on the streets, similarly like in Queens, New York, in prostitution. They're doing drug runs, many different things that are going on as far as that. And the U.S. government has done nothing to handle this situation. But meanwhile, they want to slam pornography and all that. You know, is there bad porn out there? Yeah, there is. There is child pornography. And you know, some of these websites try to do their best to get rid of it. They don't want that on their site. But just like YouTube, just like, you know, other websites, a lot of times you're doing a lot of work to get rid of them. And then, of course, there are those websites, similar like Meta, that just literally does a little work and doesn't care what the rest of it's on there. You know, and the thing about it is, when you look at the numbers, you know, when you're dealing with Pornhub versus, say, like Meta, there's a lot more cheese pizza on Meta than, you know, there is on Pornhub. You've seen this from sites that have been monitoring what's been going on all these websites. This is just a censorship game. That's all it is. It's a censorship game when it comes to this. You know, they want to censor. We have an article coming out that 18 social media sites have been shut down in India. You know, you have a country like India that is censoring for sex, nudity, but they were the ones who created the Kama Sutra. They have many different artifacts on there that promote sex. But yet, you know, there are those that say, oh, we got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of it. Sex is sex, no matter however you judge. Porn has been around since the cave, you know, the caveman could write on the wall, you know, to that situation. Because all you got to do is look at the artifacts that have been around for many, many years that have been found. And you find, you know, relics for sex, you know, pregnancy and all this stuff that, you know, that they deem, oh, it's bad. This is the new Puritans. These are the new Puritans that they're just looking at this. You know, when they're done with the porn, you know, they're going to go after everything else. They're trying to change the obscenity rules and go back to prior to the 1970s. And when they do that, they're going to go after people, you know, they're going to go after the comedy. They're going to go after the R-rated movies, you know, the action films that they deem too violent, or the horror films that they deem too violent, or the R-rated movies that contain romance and sex in it, and then call them porn as well. Because there are R-rated movies and NC-17 movies that border toward pornography. Yeah, that's it. Listen, you know, those of us from our age group, you know, Gabriel Iglesias made fun of that one time. You know, talking about, you know, they used to have Cinemax, or we used to call Cinemax, which basically after hours on the weekends, you had movies that were put toward, sort of a pornographic way in a way, but not really pornographic. They were just literally, for example, Pirates, one of the most successful porn movies of all time because of its look, production values, and stuff like that. They were edited down to an NC-17 and an R-rated version, which I believe the R-rated version ended up on Cinemax. And even Netflix has a couple of shows. You have one about the porn producer Rocco. It's coming out right now. That's going to be pretty racy on itself. And I think there's a couple of other things that are floating around Netflix that basically is a bit racy than normal, a little bit NC-17-ish on there. But you think about it is, these websites, all these websites, and I'm talking streaming, we're talking Paramount, Max, all these sites, does have NC-17 movies. And you see how there are some places like the UK that are trying to change the ratings on certain movies. Just for a word. We had the Mary Poppins situation where, they said a word that, most people wouldn't understand today. It's not like saying the N-word, because they're saying, oh, it's racist, what do you say? I said, most people wouldn't even understand that. That's from a different time period. So this is where we're at. VPN is going to be a major tool in this war of censorship to the situation, because you're going to have these sites, they're going to pull up their spikes and block access on certain states, but yet we here, on certain states, will be able to still access it via VPNs. So tell me in the comments below your thoughts about this. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Don't forget to hit that like. Don't forget to share this video. And hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. So remember, have yourself a happy Easter this week. Now this week we're only running episodes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday due to the Easter holiday weekend, Holy Thursday, Friday, so on and so on. So we'll see you next week. We'll be back with a full week of content. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out all of our videos here, QTCast TV and Man with the Show. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are two ways listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.